Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another episode of COVID-19 coronavirus, Chinese coronavirus, Wuhan flu, uh, CCP virus, whatever it is. It has so many names. I think in the end, we're all going to call it what it really is: the Chinese coronavirus or the CCP virus, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, I'm going to go over just real briefly some of my concerns and fears that I have that are possibly coming up during the fall and winter. Um, I think we're going through a lull, if you can call this a lull, not LOL, but a very a calm before the storm. So let's just go over the numbers real quick here. Almost up to 5 million total confirmed cases, 162,000 death. Looks like 1,000 death today, but those numbers seem to change over time. Let's just go over the charts here. Uh, Looks like it has peaked out here, and it is trending downwards. But I think this is where the lull comes in. I think a lot of this has to do with this rise in confirmed cases is heavily correlated with the riot and looting and the protesting that's been going on uh, towards the beginning of, well, end of May, beginning of June, all throughout June and into early part of July. So I think that's what this rise in confirmed cases are. And then you're seeing kind of like the peak of that because I think a lot of people are tired of the riots, the protest, okay, the looting. They're very tired of this. And I think that's being cracked down on. So I think that's why you're seeing a decrease. People are staying at home, staying away from other people, taking extra precautions. So let's just go down here. California, Florida, and Texas have surpassed New York in numbers, but I think a lot of it has to do because New York was the original kind of epicenter. A lot of people left New York and have not returned, and in a lot of ways, New York City and New York, I think the population has decreased in general because, again, a lot of people have fled that state, gone to surrounding states and somewhere else as well. But that may change because the winter months are coming. So let's just take a look at the death. It's averaging about 1,000 the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. But considering how many have been infected, over 50,000 people being infected, it's pretty amazing that it's that low. And I think a lot of it has to do with therapeutics and a better understanding of how the coronavirus works, and also how to treat it, so your chances of survival have greatly increased. The most the most vulnerable are the elderly. Anybody over 70 are typically the most vulnerable, and they probably most likely died off during the first wave of the virus. We're still technically in the first wave. So I do still believe the second wave is coming. Let me take a look at the worldwide, and I'll go through some other websites here to to kind of show you why I think the second wave is still coming, and you should start preparing. So here is worldwide. It is still kind of going on that peak, although on the log it's kind of peaked out here, but it's still growing. But it looks like here on the graph chart, it has peaked out. If you look here, it's peaked out probably a week ago, and that's why I think we're in a lull, because we're in the transition where the Earth is going to tilt, or not really tilt, but it's rotating, and you're transitioning from summer into winter. So it's August, August 9th. August 9th, 2020. I'm recording this at 2:59 or 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. So we're pretty much, summer is almost over and we're starting to enter into fall or autumn in the northern hemisphere. Opposite of that in the southern hemisphere will be spring. And so I think in the southern hemisphere you're going to see a tapering off of infections, and then you're going to see the reemergence of infections in the northern hemisphere. And I'll try to demonstrate that or show that here, because if you look at Brazil, hit pretty hard, somewhat in the southern hemisphere. India, somewhat parts of it in the southern hemisphere, not all of it. South Africa, Peru, Colombia, Chile. Beginning of the year, they were pretty much non-existent. And you got to keep in mind, these are countries that probably don't have a very high healthcare system. So, and they're showing this many cases. So I think when the shift in the seasons from summer to winter and winter to summer, depending on what part of the hemisphere you're on, you're going to see that shift. And so it's peaked out. It's in a lull. In my opinion, it will continue to go down until we start seeing it pick up in the northern hemisphere. And I'll try to show you what I'm talking about, because the IMHE predictions or projections. This is August 6th. It's about 3 days old, but here you go. This is current today right here. And as we move into winter, you'll see that it starts picking up. The red one is if there was no easing. Even if the projections even show it going up, and if you had a mask, the green line, it's still showing it's going up. The number of daily death, and you see if no easing was done, or the easing, no precautions were done, look at the spike of daily death that are going up. This is the middle, purple is the projected, and then mask on the green down here. And yes, I will be wearing a mask. I think the masks that you buy at the store are not very effective in protecting you. They may be very effective in protecting others. The thing is, everybody has to wear a mask in order to make it work. I'm wearing a mask a little differently. I'm wearing 5 layers of face covering, and one of the layers happens to be an N95 respirator. And so I'm trying to mask up so I can be protected and at the same time protecting others. But face coverings, I don't know if they're going to be that very effective in protecting you. It may protect others, but everybody has to do it. So if you look here, this is daily infections and testing. There's some anticipation here of increase. Even on the projections, they expect increase November, December. Now, will it happen? I don't know. So I don't know. All I can say is I'm preparing for the winter as much as I can. I don't think there will be food disruptions, but you should probably resupply yourself on food. There could be food disruptions because we are going through a winter season where we're not going to be, in North America, you're not going to be producing any food, possibly, but this is a time where we live in a globalized world, so food may not be an issue. But I do have fears. School, my kids are not going to school, they're doing online. I am a little fearful of that. And so my greatest fear is that our second wave during the winter, as you see here, that's going to be coming, and possibly hit us harder. And not only that, but the mutation in the strains of virus, it may mutate to a deadly form. That is my greatest fear. I'm not saying that it will happen, but anyways, I'm going to end this video. Please like, share, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Bye bye.